Thank you, everyone. My name is Bala. I'm a cloud solutions architect in Microsoft. Been here for like close to more than 6 years now. Been on that digital transformation type domain with a lot of emphasis on the data and AI side of the spectrum. So today I'm going to show you a few things. We're going to cover, here's the agenda. Let's talk about the responsible AI. And then I'm going to give you insights into what we are doing with Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability. And we'll talk about on a high level on what Azure Cloud Security and what we are doing there. A lot of emphasis has, a lot of budget and emphasis has been on these three areas. So that's me. So if you don't have any questions, let's get starting. So let's talk about responsible AI. How do we operationalize it, right? So we all know AI and machine learning are synonymous, so it goes hand in hand. What is the big deal about it here, right? Since AI is brand new in the technology space, and specifically we use it for doing a lot of behavioral based analysis and things like that. So there are a few concerns that the entire data science community and the users who consume have. Is it ethical? Are we using the data in the right way? What are all those things that governs the AI and how we use AI and how we make sure that privacy protection is there, security is there, and things like that. That has driven a lot of attention these days in the government side. So there are some ethical principles in place, governance and operations, and then even public policies are there. Like as you can see, more and more data. If you look at it very carefully, they are coming up with standards per country, per states, and things like that, with GDPR, CCPA, and those things. So what is Microsoft doing in that space? We are a pioneer in this particular space. What we are trying to do is we are trying to build tools that can actually hold accountable to whomever is building the AI and provide transparency, how the model is built, what it is doing inside, at the same time being fairness, because most of these advertisement area is where a lot of AI is being implemented, and that involves with users and humans and things like that. So we want to make sure that there is no bias and fairness, include everybody. There is privacy and security so that individual privacies are protected, and also data security is given proper access to it and things like that, with the inclusiveness. So let's talk about why this matters, right? I mean, most data science activity is not just predicting a machine and things like that. There are use cases that technically does like human calculation. I mean, we all know we use apps, and you can see, like, I mean, if you search for a keyword, then any other app you use, your advertisement is based on that. So when you search a keyword in some X search engine, why is the other apps know? How do they know that you touched that, right? A topic. So there are things like that involved, and also like especially when they're doing advertisement, geography and ethnicity, all those things matters. Before it used to be statistical methodology, but with the AI, we want to make sure that we include all race and genders and provide equal opportunity in the model so that the model can understand that it's not biased to certain specific ethnic or race or something like that, right? That's the idea behind it. Now, what do? We are actually building this. We are building this tool, and I'm going to show you very quickly instead of when I can get rid of this. Okay. So we have this tool set, what we call the RAI dashboard. Can everyone see the screen? Awesome. So I'm assuming that you can. In this tool, it's a Python-based SDK tool that runs in our Azure machine learning workspace. It's an SDK, so technically you can use it anywhere, even in local computer. We can run a model, and then we can actually invoke this, what we call RAI dashboard. And what it does is like it does error analysis, feature importance, data explorer, causal analysis, and what if counterfactual analysis. All these are just generated by a few line of codes. So for example, this is my notebook. I was just doing this for you guys today morning, and here is my model. This is where I'm running the model, a regular machine learning Python based, nothing new to it. And then all I'm doing is like I'm creating which columns I wanted to check for bias and error analysis and things like that. And then I'm calling the explainer and creating the dashboard. So you can see, like, I mean, I only ran this set of code, not more than that. And this is the dashboard that actually gets created. It comes up with a nice UI interface. We are also trying to add fairness to it. As of right now, you can see error analysis is here. You can actually select and see how the decision tree took actions, where a rate in which area, what are the conditions that it is doing. You can also check the model performance, how it is behaving. You can check the data performance with the predicted value to the data set, actually, where, how far is it all in the same range. You can see these are like a little bit decent. These are very small, skewed to the top. So you can see the data and analyze this and see what is causing. So this is what we call opening up the black box, right? You can see what is internally inside. And we also have like causal analysis, and you can also do counterfactual analysis. This you can do it with predicted value versus data sets. All of these options are available. You can pick and choose different features that are in here, and you can actually plot it and see. You see it change it to age. You can also do predicted versus true values. So this tool allows, as a data science, to make sure things are working in the right fashion. So that being said, this is the first part of it. Hopefully that gives you an insights on what we are doing, and this field is going to grow. I mean, we're going to add more and more and more to it. So that's basically the RAI updates we have, and this will become, it's already public preview, and soon it'll become GA. Now let's talk about the next one. I wanted to talk to you guys about what Microsoft is doing in sustainability and what are we trying to build for you guys. Of course, climate is everybody's in mind because this is our future. We wanted to make sure that we live healthy, and we also have our kids and grandkids and generations to come to live healthy in this planet, right? So now we all have heard about most of our the warming, global warming effort and things like that. So what Microsoft is doing is like we understand that challenge because we run a lot of data centers. We actually are one of the biggest buyers of electricity in the world, but not all of them comes from the natural sources. So we are looking at some of these. How do we tackle this? Because it's a brand new space. Not many standards are available. There are pressure coming from the top to see like, okay, how are we going to track and report on these things? There is so many, it's like the supply chain itself is a huge thing because there is so many different vendors and so many different products are involved, and the way different manufacturers are done are all different. Even waste is also the same way. Every different industry has its own way of manufacturing and own way of disposing things. And then we have to tackle the customer expectations, right? So just to give you an insight into it, where are all the reduction opportunities that we had? Is like, okay, how about our energy system? How can we reduce that? How can we reduce the waste in the electrical and electronic components? And how can we actually reduce footprint in air travel or try to avoid flights and things like that? And these are some of the areas where we are looking at also as Microsoft internal, but we also want our customers to look at it. These falls under the scope 1 and scope 2 emissions, what we have direct access to it. Now let's talk about the value chain. The value chain effort is like how much of the percentage is actually affects upstream and downstream, right? So we do recognize that also. So it's not everything is within the same organization. Every people who work in employees also have a huge part to play on this ones. And not only that, all the other things like suppliers and vendors and everything that we touch, even our customers are demanding like, okay, we need to be going green and reduce carbon footprint, right? So that's our motivation. So what we are doing is we are building something so that anybody can collect data. That is specifically to achieve scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. Scope 1 and 2 are pretty decent. Scope 3 is like third party. So bringing all this information in a place so that we can report is what we are starting out with. So what are we doing? We are future proofing for to collect data. Why? So that we can actually help everybody change their culture and use the data to solve the different siloed poor data quality and inconsistent metrics. If we know how much we are consuming and how much we are producing, then we can actually go figure out a means to solve it, given the ecosystem is extremely large. So what we spent is like I'll talk about the cloud part later. We are building a common data model that is just not going to only just not for collecting data from Microsoft products, but we are building it in such a way that you guys can build your own. You can use the data model to bring everything else that you may also use in the corporations and companies, right? And by any means, sustainability is good for the business. That's what we are hearing from a lot of people. So let's see why. Because sustainability can build your trust, brand, and enhance your efficiency, and that will actually drive your margins and revenues, right? So these are market prediction slides. I'm not going to bore you guys with what it is. This is what market actually predicts. Let's talk about why Microsoft. So I started out with this saying that we are also implementing our carbon. We are analyzing our carbon footprint, right? So you can see how our journey started. This is not like just started now. We started quite a bit early. Some of our data center purely uses green energies, and our goal is to become carbon negative by 2030, and also go remove all the carbon that we have used before 2050. It's a big goal. As an employee, we also participate in it, and we are also conscious to contribute to it, right? So we are taking necessary precautions as well. This is a sample that one of our data center actually, and the buildings that we use, we try to get put like smart building opportunities in here, and then try to actually get green electricity and try to figure out how to consume less electricity by coming up with windows and natural lightings and things like that. So what are we doing for our customers? We are of course committed. We wanted to bring you that data-driven decision-making process in here to address the environmental challenges. That's basically what we're doing. Here is how we are looking at create efficiency in process. Actually, yes, supply chain transparency, collect in all points of the supply chain, because your carbon emission can start from from where we are pulling raw materials and all the way up to manufacturing. Support reuse and recycle. This is very critical. And go to like green energy or clean energy, like solar, wind, and things like that, whichever is possible. And what we do, we actually get all these things from our suppliers and our employees and all of those, because we came up with this 3R concept: record, report, and reduce. So first thing is collect all the data for sustainability in one place. Then you will be able to report it. And then from there, you can actually find ways how you're going to reduce it and make the earth more greener and greener. That being said, what is Microsoft doing? We introduced, it went GA a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So it's a cloud, Microsoft Cloud for Sustainability. What do we allow our customers to do is to be able to collect their data first and record it. And then based on that, you guys can actually get reports out of it to figure out what is really happening. And then, these are the main first two parts we are going to go after. And then comes the action part. Action part is a little bit later. So what do we have now is the data collection part. So we are building in a cloud. We understand that any corporation may not have only a single vendor. You will have so many different vendors doing different softwares and things like that. Yes, they will provide their own sustainability thing, but it's all in a different systems. So we are giving you an option to consolidate all in one place, and then that allows you to report as a corporate what you are doing. If you're using everything Microsoft, then it's a different story. But most customers not. So you want to understand across all your footprint. So that's why we built this cloud. Our goal is to automate data collection and bring it to a common data model, so that you guys can do the calculate emission across scopes 1, 2, and 3, and build your own specific sustainability reports, right? Even though the industry and the government is going to provide you some, those are all going to be a feed coming into you. Still, you as an organization, you will also contribute to it. So you want to add those elements and build the entire end-to-end ecosystem. Once you have everything collected, then we can do like a lot of what is happening right now. You can do like trending analysis and see what is going on. You can see where to take actions, and how are you going to report this to your stakeholders and different other agencies, because sustainability is also going to be like a two-way thing. You probably have to also share some of your sustainability, what you're doing, to other partners and vendors, and that's how it's going to work out. And then after that is the last R. This R is the big one. Once you have the data, once you know where the problems are, then you can actually come up with your goals to figure out, okay, what is my roadmap to go clear it, and how do I fix it, right? How do I either reduce the carbon footprint or clean the air, whatever that is. Whatever actions you guys want to do, go for it. And those are the three things that Microsoft Cloud is going to provide. You will have a common data model, and then you can actually bring from different sources and build your insights. I call it sustainability data lake, but you can build a similar like that and then report on it. This gives you the entire flow of what we do. Common data model, dynamic calculation, data visualization, reporting. We also do some actionable reports, goal tracking. This is our dream. This is going to be coming soon. We already have the data collection already available. So that's pretty much what Microsoft Cloud is doing. Here is the other extension of if you look at Microsoft's portfolio, we have a lot of other clouds. We're also looking at sustainability being able to pull from the other clouds and aggregate it, because industry is looking at industry specific. We are looking at sustainability is going to look at all industries, regardless to give and report you guys. And plus, this is powered by our Azure cloud, so scale is not a problem. So that's basically our sustainability story is. Very excited. This should be available. This is already available now. Sign up and give us feedback and let us know what do you think. Very interesting. Next in the agenda was the, so far, can you all hear me?
Perfectly fine.
Perfect. Okay. So the third part of the agenda was the security. In security, I'm going to cover the hybrid and the cloud part of it, because we are looking at security in a holistic fashion. So let's talk about some of what's happening in the industry, right? If you look at it, the CEOs have they have to do a digital transformation with COO, and CSO covers, they are very worried about the security part of it. And then the CIO is actually looking at cloud transformations. And you have multiple clouds in these days. It is also, we talk about a lot about hybrid. Hybrid is hybrid is like not running a cloud in hybrid. Hybrid has to be looked at like what is the minimal footprint that you wanted to run in a hybrid environment type thing, depending on what you're doing. So these are some of the technologies that are coming, right? As you move to the cloud, security becomes key, cyber threats, risk management, and do we have security tools? These are big questions, especially COVID has taught that we can do hybrid work. How do we support and make it secure? How are we going to grow our business? How is our compliance and risk is going to play? So a lot of these things come in play, and it becomes a very complex network environment. Sorry, could be like thousands of apps, and you have like diverse infrastructure in place to play around with multiple clouds, or you can have your own private cloud, and how do we work around that? And these poses a lot of challenge, right? I mean, if we have everything, what and how to manage and how to secure is the biggest thing. So Microsoft lately, cloud security is our biggest top of the mind. We have spent a lot of money and resources on building these things. Security, our investment is also at #1 position inside company itself. And data security is something that we actually look at it very, very, very seriously. Now, that being said, security is just a technology problem? No. Security is a combination, right? It's technology, yes, it's an enabler, but there is also a place where people and process plays a role. So we'll talk about that. First, I'll talk about the technology side of it to give you on a high level what Microsoft security is about. And then we can go into people and processes, because that is also very, very important for an entire organization to be safe and secure. Okay, let's talk about the technology piece. Here is like a circle of like how security is looked at, right? You have X number of apps, you have a lot of infrastructures, and you have multi-cloud and all of those things. So all these things, how do they come together, right? If you look at our cloud security posture, we have Azure Security Center. It's like your one pane of glass to get into the Azure security side. Azure Defender, on the other hand, is like a hybrid model and a cloud model. So you can look at the storage accounts or look at like VMs and see what is happening. Even Defender is making into our PaaS services. And then you have this networking components, which is like the firewalls and app gateways and things like that, where you can secure there also. And then we have this Active Directory for authentication. So want to make sure that you have just in time also available, but you can also do managed identity and zero trust. Now, these are all available in our platform. And we also allow means to discover and control SaaS-based application as well. Now, if you're a developer and things like that, you can use Azure GitHub and Azure Visual Studio Code or Studio and actually build your application. And that can also be secured by integrating with the security platform. So you can see like we have a full circle, like an end-to-end security mechanism. This is where we are also, the Defender is also getting extended into multi-cloud. So we also have other clouds that we can access. So just to give you an idea, this is like a bird's eye view. Like you have VMs, apps, and all of those are managed in Security Center, but you can extend that using Arc and also manage VMs and things like that in other clouds as well. We are also looking at some of the past products in other clouds to manage as well. And then here is the other model. This covers a lot more like industrial IoT, network traffic, storage. This is where the Defender product comes in. It analyzes threat detection, and it'll let you know if anybody is trying to SSH into your system without knowing who that is, unknown people trying to access and stuff like that. And this portfolio of products, what you're seeing now, is going to get increased into most of our past products. And Arc is a better way to extend that into the other on-premise systems. If you have SQL servers in on-prem, you can, or Windows, you can install Arc and you can enable Defender and you can manage it in that way as well. So now this is a concept that I get heard by everybody a lot. Security comes in a big deal. So if you want access, there is a mechanism to do just-in-time access. Because as you all know, like a lot of data breaches based on people having access to the data. So in Azure AD, we have this concept of zero trust and also like just-in-time access. If you want access, you can request and it'll give you for X hours. And you can also put controls like access and block access, MFA, password policies, and you can even figure out physical locations and things like that. Now, these are applicable. We have a B2B and B2C model. If you want to extend into your consumer space, B2C model is pretty good. If you're an employee within the company building applications, B2B model is very good. So as you see, like we are putting a lot of effort in securing, and security is a very, very, very key. Now, these are some of these applications that we can actually support in the cloud vendor. This list is going to grow more and more and more. And we are also looking at doing this with the DevSecOps, which means when you're deploying and when you are integrating it from one environment to another environment, or you're doing third-party integrations, when you're doing coded deployment, we wanted to make sure that you're doing that securely from the left, which means from the beginning, right from the infrastructure to application to data and AI and analytics. We're also looking at hardening like networks, runtime, encryption on the fly, like so that in the wire it's getting encrypted in transit and also in use. Now we also have provided a lot of best practices depending on what we wanted to do. Like you can do like the NIST-based security analysis on the resources that you have, and it can give you like and tell you like, hey, here are these XY resources that are not secured, and please go take a look at it. So there are means to do proactive based security threat detections. And also some of these databases, if you look at it, like SQL and all, has a lot of additional options that are available, like threat detection. It'll tell you like if the database is being bombed by, somebody is trying to bombard it by any other unknown activities and things like that. So those are also available in our platform. What we wanted to do is we wanted to be able to proactively also let you guys know that if anything is happening. That's why there is a lot of emphasis and investment going in this area. So that's basically, on a nutshell, what the updates that we had today. Also remember, build is coming tomorrow, which means tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and the day after that, you will hear a lot more new features on every single thing that is going to happen. Now, let's touch on the last part, the people and the process. So you have the tools, and yes, on a hybrid cloud-based and multi-cloud as well, but that is not enough. We have to have the team and the people inside the organization as well, because that is very, very, very crucial. There's got to be a security from starting from in the beginning. For if you're developing new applications or creating new things, it has to be like an organizational priority. You guys should actually, everybody should look at like zero trust. That seems to be the new trend. And the security organization has to get built if you don't have it, and make sure that they have the skills and the tools to perform their activity, right? So when we look at people and process, we look at the business and align with the risk. And then how is the business resilience going to be affecting? And then we actually create the security integration based on that. We just want to make sure that people can work freely and in a secured manner. That's the ultimate goal, making sure that we avoid risk for the company or breaches and things like that. And for that, we have few principles. This is something I'll share the deck with you guys. Access control is one, security operations, asset protection, security and governance, and innovation in security. That's more on the leading edge of it. Our biggest goal is like all our cloud services and technologies are secured. We have MFA, multi-factor authentication. We do also have like security ops to monitor. So you guys have to look at that as well. You have to look at asset protection, like sensitive data, whether who has what access, are we providing the right access to the users? And you can create a data governance. We have the Microsoft Purview product that can discover and classify assets. So you can see like which assets, which business group it belongs to. And then, of course, ultimately, it's all going to drive your security governance. You should have a governance team who can audit and test and see. So these are something that we did, and we also share these principles with all our customers. So as you can see, the teams has to be educated. We need to know what to look for in the threat. So, for example, in emails, in chats, or even, mailing can do anything, but all the electronics and how people try to send us information to go and lure you into a website, right? Like, so we look at everything. Security is a big thing. It's a shared responsibility. Even in the past world, when the customer uses our past products, it's a shared responsible model. So Microsoft works very hard to make sure that security is in place and we don't provide unauthorized access and all to anybody. At the same time, customers also have to secure their resources. We need to provide roles and responsibilities and make sure that there is widespread adoption in the company. Technologies, choose the right technology, come up with the best practices, so that it can cover end to end. Now, if you want to get more details into what Microsoft is recommending and things like that, this is a slide that when I share, you can look at the links. There is extremely well documented approach what we do for cloud adoption framework, and then we also have a well architected framework which you can actually look at it, how to run your environment peacefully, but at the same time with secured and actually able to provide the best possible satisfaction for your customers. So these two are the security pillar has like set of principles. You see the cost optimization, operational excellence, and reliability and performance efficiency, security. These are very, very consistent if you go with any applications or any IT systems. Cloud adoption framework allows you to come up with a process and what tools to use, how what are the best practices that you guys wanted to follow. So these two coming together will become your world-class system. That being said, that's pretty much what I had. Questions?